And welcome everybody to the Podcaster Nation. That's right. You've been here before. You're going to be here again. The Podcaster Nation. It is the place that it is done by podcasters. It's done for podcasters. And you guessed, it's about podcasters. Folks, this is our community. All right. This is where the rising tide raises all ships. We talk about each other. We guest on each other's shows. We promote each other. Everybody works together and we try and just get more and more and more for everybody. And you know what? Everybody does things a little bit differently. So we might just pick up a little bit of a trick along the way from somebody else. So welcome. If you're here for the first time, welcome. And if you are a podcaster out there and you're listening to this and you've got your own podcast, you need to do like my friend Deon here and you need to contact me and I will get you on the show. That's what we do. We interview podcasters. All right. Without further ado, and I mentioned him already, but I've got a really cool guest today. He's got two podcasts. The host of The Section with E-Rock and Two Trill Fortispill. Welcome, Deon Garcia. Deon, how you doing, man? Thanks for being here today.
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed to be alive.
That's big, and you've told me a little bit of your story. So why don't you you can expound on that, of course, but why don't we start off by all the folks who are tuning in today? Let them know who you are, what you meant by that, of course, because I know you got one hell of a story, man. And tell them what you're about and what you're doing now and why. All right, so let's get rolling.
Yes, my name is Deon Garcia. I'm born and raised out of Houston, Texas. I have two podcasts. I used to do radio, Texas 101 Jams, Street 100 Heat Radio, and now I have two podcasts, Two Trill with a Spill Radio with my man Miguel Garza, and I have one called The Section with E-Rock from the Fifth Ward Boys, legend rap group as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So how'd you get into this? I mean, what's your background? What led you to this spot, man?
It's something that fell in my lap. I don't like to do interviews. I don't like to take pictures. Uh, a friend of mine, he needed a co-host for a radio station. He's like, man, Dan, I need somebody to co-host with me, but they won't give me the show unless it's two of us and we go in there and talk to them. Well, the people didn't, they kind of not didn't get off to him, so they liked me. So they, you know what, I'll give you all the show if you're gonna be, with him, your co-host and stuff. I said, all right. So I took on the role. So we did a lot of interviews and stuff, and everything was going good. And 8 or 9 months down the line, he said, "Hey, man, I'm on a run. I gotta go, man. They're looking for me. I'm moving out of town. Go ahead and do it yourself." I'm like, "Oh man, I didn't really want to do this. I wanted just to be in the background. I was co-host. I would say a few things here and there on the regular me and him had the show. So I would collaborate on some things, but I was in the background mostly. So and he left, so I took over the radio show. And once I took over, I built that radio station and that show up so nice to where I had a lot of local celebrities in Houston that would reach out to me and say, "Hey, Deon, I want to be on your show. I want to be on your show." So I would book them, but I would also book the unknown artists that some that didn't even speak English, and them other guys that on my show that was so grateful just to be on the radio, and just like, man, they thought they won the lottery. Just that feeling that gave me a good feeling. So I feel like this is probably my calling, or something, because like I said, I don't like to do interviews. I ain't like to do none of that stuff. It just fell in my lap and I ran with it. And here we are, a year and a half later, two podcasts.
That's beautiful. So you've been doing it for a year and a half on
Yeah.
either one of them. Okay. And how many episodes you got? I mean, between the two, if you don't mind me asking, just give or take.
Just the two episodes, we probably have not that many, 20, because I just left radio. I was at Street 100 Heat Radio. I went
Oh,
from Texas
okay.
101 Jams Radio, and I went to Street 100 the Heat Radio with my friend Homestead Slim. So I was there for a little bit until we started our own podcast, and I just gravitated toward the podcast.
Ah, I see. Okay, so you were on the actual radio, and now you're doing your own
Mhm.
thing.
Yes.
Right on, right on. Okay, and now I know that when we started the program, and you told me this too when you and I were talking when we were setting up the interview a long time ago. You told me that you're blessed to be here, and that's
Yes.
that's not necessarily just a given, man. I mean, you've been through it.
Yes. Back in '98, I've been shot 13 times. I died twice on the table, and the doctors didn't give up on me. So me helping somebody, I feel I won. I feel like when I help somebody, like I told you, when I had a guy that didn't speak no English, he called all his family and told him he was on the radio, and he seemed like he won the lotto, like he made it big time, and that is what I do it for. I do it for the people like that don't have the platform, they don't have the backing, they don't have access to radio. Them are the people I really do it for.
Yeah, I love that, dude. I mean, you and I talked about this when we first met. And when we first met, I was trying to like, I don't know, call you or something. It wasn't working. I finally just grabbed Facebook. I said, I'm gonna call him through, Messenger and see if we can hook up. It was like what, 11 o'clock at night or something. I'm like, you up? You're like, yeah. I'm like, let's chat. But I mean, you were just sitting there, and I mean, within just a couple minutes, it's like we clicked, and you were just telling me everything about you. And dude, I loved everything you were saying. It was because everything you're talking about not only is what we're doing here, but it's what is missing, in
Yeah,
our world of podcasting. Everybody wants to make a buck. Everybody wants to sell an ad. You're like, I want to help folks out.
yes.
That dude, that's huge. That's huge. I love that. So I mean, that's still what you're doing today. I mean, that's still what drives you today to do this.
Yes, that's what drives me. Like I said, I lost my life, and I feel that since God gave me a chance, I could give somebody else a chance. Maybe it'll put them in a different position. Maybe it'll inspire them to keep going. But I'm here to try to inspire and build and create opportunities for not only my family, for other people's family, my team, their family as well.
Right. Yeah. At this point, are you able to do this full time, or is this still a part time situation for you?
It's a part time because um we just started doing a podcast. I went from the radio and I jumped into the podcast because the podcast I wanted to do because the radio was good, but it's about ownership. I wanted to build
Mm.
something up that I owned, that had my name on it, not somebody else's name on it. So I wanted to build my name up and my brand and take it to the next level. And when I take it to the next level, bring some people along with me.
I totally understand that. Right now, there's podcasters all over the country who are listening to this going, yep, yep, I got it. They're all nodding their heads with you, going, you got to own it. It's got to be my thing,
Yeah.
So I love that. Now you're still doing both podcasts, though, right? I mean, most of
Yes.
these podcasts are live and everything else.
Yeah.
Now you're audio and you're visual, right? I mean, you're on like YouTube and stuff. Where are we finding your
We're, we're,
podcast?
we're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on there.
Okay, so you're
Yes,
everywhere.
everywhere.
Right. And then do you do an audio only, like on
No,
Spotify, iTunes, or is it all video?
no, it's all visual. It's
Right
all
on.
visual.
Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. I just so people know where to find you because I mean you've got some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Now when you first started podcasting, before that, hold on. You have two very distinct podcasts. And I want to make
Mhm.
sure that you get a chance to tell everybody what each of these podcasts is about,
Uh-huh.
and why they would want to listen to either one of them. Okay,
Okay.
so because you got the section and you got Too Trill for the Spill. So tell everybody about both of those and what they can find when they tune into either one of those.
Yes. Okay. The sections is more or less about come. Anybody's welcome. That's the meaning. It's a section. Come join us. Come join us. Anybody's welcome. You need an interview booked, we'll book you. We're not big on names. You don't have to be a celebrity to get on our podcast. You don't have to be. You could be a contractor. You could be a business owner. You could be anything you want to be. If you have a story, we're gonna tell it. We're gonna let you tell it. And then, but we also do on that podcast we do music reviews. We also interview artists as well. And Two Trip with a Spill is more for the people. It's more for like if you're going through something, you could reach out to us, and we have resources to where if we could try to help you get a job, or we could try to help you find housing or whatever you need. We have friends that could probably want us to help you.
Wow. So I mean, so that podcast is about like networking and stuff. I mean,
Networking,
like in
networking.
real life.
Yes.
Wow. I didn't realize that. I mean, I've talked to you about this twice now, and I didn't realize that that's what. I mean, you mentioned it that it was like for everybody if they needed help, but I thought maybe it was just advice and stuff. But you're actually
That,
networking
that
with people.
networking also for the advice too. Maybe you're going through something and you want to chime in and talk to us and let us know, hey, I'm going through this, mental health, and maybe we could talk to you and find you some help. We have resources as well, so it's all about communication and understanding and trying to build each other up. Maybe I learned something from them, and they'll learn something from me as well.
Yeah, that's utterly fantastic. I mean, I'm even more impressed now, to be honest with you. I love that. So, all right, now back to the other question that I was getting ready to ask out of order. When you first started podcasting, I mean, I know you had some radio background and stuff. When you first started doing the podcast, though, did you make a big investment in it, or was it like, starting with bare bones, or how'd you get rolling when you first started?
It was had some sponsors, an investor or two, that nature. Well, people see us. We look. This is a story, not to get off subject, but I do toy drives. I do food giveaways. We'll go to feed the homeless. So people recognize, saying the name in the face, and they'll reach out to me, say, "Hey, man, I see you doing this. You need some help." And I'm always have people say, "Hey, man, you need some help. Let me know." And I'm real big on, you ask if you ask me, hey, man, because I look at it this way, maybe God sent you to me, So I'm like, hey, if you ask me, Deon, do you need some help? And if I need help, I'm gonna ask you, okay, look, can you do this, or do you have resources for some used equipment or anything, that can help me? And in the process, I tell them, man, look, if you got a business, I'm gonna promote you. I'm gonna put you on, on the podcast. I'm gonna put it on social media. I'll do a commercial, and we'll put it on the Roku channel. So I'll do whatever I can as well.
That's okay. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Most podcasters, when they get started, they don't have help like that. But I mean, you're already out there networking and doing all this. So just hearing your story so far makes total sense.
Yes.
Yeah, right on. Okay. Why did you choose podcasting as your medium? Like, why, what made you say, you know what? I mean, I know it was ownership in terms of getting out of the radio, but why is it, that you want to just do podcasting and the visual and everything else? What's drawing you to that, man?
Because radio, you're limited sometimes what you want to say. If you're feeling a certain way, the podcast we have no censorship. If you're angry and you wanted to express yourself, and it's profanity sometimes, whatever, the radio somewhere you can't do it. So, I want it to be real. I want to be real and raw. I don't want to be scripted or you had to get some guidelines, in that nature. I want to be real to where it's authentic. So you say what you want to say, how you want to say it, that's how to me, that's why I wanted to go the podcast way.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Now I mean, you're a dad. You're
Yes.
telling me, right on, yeah.
Yes.
And you were just telling me you took a kid to boxing.
Yes, I enrolled him in the boxing Aztecs boxing gym.
I love that. I mean, I know it doesn't have anything to do with podcasting, but it's part of who you are. You know what I mean? So, um, now, I mean, you're a dad, you're working, you got this. How do you find the time? A lot of people have trouble with, oh, I don't have time for this or time for that. And I mean, you've got like two shows and all kinds of stuff and networking with people. How'd you do
Man,
it?
I don't even know. I think it's God because I'm real big on prayer, so I'm I usually let him guide me. At night, I ask him, tomorrow. I don't make plans, because you want to make God laugh. You tell him your plans. I don't make plans. Let I'll let him lead me. I'll pray and say, God, tomorrow, if you want whatever you want me to do, lead me in that direction. Open these doors for me and my people, and I can do the rest. Just wake me up, and I'll do the rest. And sometimes he leads me to where, okay, this, we're doing this today, or we're doing this, and that's how I move. I'm real big on prayer.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I didn't realize that about you either when we first talked, but I mean, I've heard, a lot about that and I knew you and I clicked. So, I mean, I had a feeling. But so you really do, when you say you feel like you've been called to do this, you really mean that. You believe that you've been called to do this. Can you talk more about that?
Yes, it's no secret that in my city I'm known. I'm known through a lot of local artists and famous comedians as well. Alex Thomas from the Players Club, he played on the movie with Ice Cube. Um, the Wash, I interviewed him, and I interviewed the guy Omar Gooding, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s brother, not too long ago, and he's a famous actor. He was on the movie Baby Boy. So you know it's not other celebrities in Houston. I interview, so it's like they gravitate toward me, and people see me, and they know that they always tell me, you know what, I just when I see you and I want to talk to you, when I want to come up to you, I want to be on your show, I want to do this because I think it's because they see what I'm doing in the community, and doing with my family. My son both of my sons, they're artists, they're musicians, they're rap artists. My little son, I was trying to get him a podcast show on the radio before I left the other station. So, and my wife, she had a talk show as well. So I keep the family active. My people open up a lounge and stuff, so we do shows out the lounge Mondays and Wednesdays. We're gonna be doing full weeks, so I do a lot of shows during the week. I do podcasts. I'm active with my kids, and really, like I said, I don't even know how I find time. And people see me, they're like, "Man, you always putting up the flyer. You're doing this event. You're doing this event." If you go look at my social media, I got an event every weekend or sometimes during the week, and I don't even know how I do it either.
I mean, you just blew me away with all that stuff you just dropped. So you give me just a second to catch back up because I gotta like rewind. So all your kids are artists, but do they have shows? Or are you trying to get them shows?
No, they're booked on shows. My son, he's going on tour in October. He'll be hitting San Antonio. He'll be hitting Austin, Waco, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Santa Marcos. He's doing a Texas tour starting October, so he'll be leaving on tour. And my other son, he just did 2 songs, so he's barely coming out with his music and stuff.
So they're performers.
Yes.
Holy cow! How old are your kids that you're talking about?
My son, he just graduated. He's 18. He's going to college, and he also has a job, and he does the music. And my other son, he's in the 11th grade. He's 16, and he does music as well. And he works at the lounge where we got the lounge as well. He works there part time as well.
Okay, so this just runs in a family because all of you are working, doing shows, doing stuff, volunteering. I mean, seriously. So you all just do the same thing. So that's why it works because you're all nuts.
Yeah,
And then you said,
basically.
right? I mean, really, which is awesome. And then you said that your wife had a talk show.
Yes. Women Talk with Queen. She did a show last year. She kind of slowed down because the kids went back to school, and she had went back to school and she graduated. She got her high school diploma, so she's gonna go back to school, go to college, and get her. I don't know what she's going for, but she's gonna go back to college. So she's
Nice.
more focused right now. She slowed down on the podcast. No, she was doing radio, and then she did podcast, and then she's going back. She's going back to school. So yeah, she's just trying to build herself up. So education.
It literally does just run through the family. So, okay. Yeah. I'm really not doubting at all that God called you to do this because your entire family's following suit. So clearly it's the mission of the household.
Yeah, we're a circus.
It's just fantastic. And you've got so much energy. I mean, it's it's just flying out of you. I mean, you're like this happy guy. Every time I talk to you, you're like happy guy, full energy, everything's going, and maybe that helps, huh?
Oh, I mean, you have to be because last week I lost a friend of mine. He was younger than me. I'm 49. I'm about to be 50 in January, and he was about 42. He had diabetes. He had heart problems and stuff, and he was going to do operation on his heart, and it was 2 weeks, so he ended up passing away.
Oh,
And I
man.
was like, man, I always have a outlook like, man, that could be me. That could be, I'm still here. So as long as I'm here, I'm going to live it like my last day. There's no room for sadness. There's no room for crying and whining. There's no room for excuses because life is short. So, I have a saying: when God wakes me up, I'm going to do the rest. You know, I'm grateful to be in this position because it could be worse. I could be in a penitentiary because I spent half of my life in the penitentiary. I could be down there waiting on a letter, waiting on a visit or mail call. I'd rather have these problems than them problems any day.
Right. Absolutely. You have a lot to be grateful for in your life then, brother.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know it, which is awesome because a lot of guys should be grateful for what's going on in their lives and they just don't quite get it, but
Mhm.
you can tell that you get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right
It took,
on.
it, took, it took a long time, but I got it.
Yeah. Right. I'm proud of you. I mean, seriously, that's fantastic. It really is. And yeah. And your kids are rolling and, your wife's
Yeah.
doing awesome things. And, um, all right. I got to slow it down for a minute because I mean I could just get lost in your story, man, for for another 10 minutes. But all right. So you talked about your financial costs, you talked about your setup and stuff like that. Um, what kind of obstacles did you have to get over? I mean, have you always just been like a natural, speaker and just outgoing guy, or did you have to, like overcome any fears or anything when you stepped behind the mic and decided to put yourself out there?
I've always been it's crazy because I've always been shy. My voice is not very loud in public, so I've always been the low talking, quiet guy, but dangerous at the same time. So now everything's positive, so I try to be more in the front camera, more taking pictures, more interviews because this is what I do. I got to transition from being, you know, shy and all this stuff. It's not going to get me to where I want to be. So I got to be outspoken. I have to, be energetic. Be positive at all times because that's what people gravitate to. Whatever you put out there in the world, you get it right back.
Right on. I mean, I don't know how I knew to ask that question because I don't normally ask it, but there was something just telling me to ask that question just now, which is funny. I mean, you are this really outgoing guy, but you've got kind of this soft demeanor, behind everything else. And I'm like, I wonder, so it was a little bit of an obstacle, huh? Trying to get past that.
Yeah,
Yeah, right on. I mean, you seem to have succeeded.
yeah. That's
So,
what my mom tells me. My mom
right.
says, and she says you're doing a good job because when you started, I was a co-host. She would tune in, and she was like, "You don't really say too much." I'm like, I'd rather be, on the sideline, say a few words here and there, but I didn't want to be in the front of the camera, in front of the mic and stuff. And look at me now.
So when the show got like literally dropped in your lap, was that something that sort of, propelled you to go, hey man, this is my show now, so I better figure out how I'm going to do this?
Really, yes, because I was gonna let it go. I was like, I told him, I said, I'm not gonna do this. So I don't want to be on radio. I never wanted to be on radio. I was doing it, you doing you a favor because you wanted to be on the radio and stuff. So and plus because I know a lot of artists in Houston, and so I was booking the artists like local famous artists in Houston. I was booking them on the show and stuff to get fame. Get the blow the show up, and that's what I would do. I would be in quiet. I would be in the sideline and just book the artist and let him do what he do, and I just say a few words and that and good night and goodbye and that was it. But when he left, I was like, man, what am I going to do, man? Because I don't want to do this. I don't care about no radio. And then something told me, man, you know what? Just try it out. He even told me, try it out. I called my mom and told my mom, like, Mom, you know what? I'm quitting radio. She was like, oh man, you just got on there, a few months. Now look at you. You're gonna quit, man. What are you gonna do, man? I was like, I'm just gonna go back to doing the shows. I was already doing shows. I was managing 8 artists and stuff. So I did 100 shows, so I was like, just go back to doing shows. I didn't really want to do the radio and podcast or nothing like that. So she was like, "Nah, give it a chance." So I gave it a chance, and everybody was calling me, "Man, you did good. I tuned in. You did real good, man. Did real good." So I don't know if they were lying to me, so I kept going, and then I guess I got good at it.
That's awesome. You can always count on mom to give you a swift kick, and be
Yeah,
like, what are you talking about? You're quitting. No, you're not.
yeah,
That's
right.
great. That is great. So how do you go about promoting your shows? I know you're on social media and stuff, but I mean, do you have a strategy for how you promote the stuff, or are you doing this like word of mouth because people like know who you are?
Word of mouth. I'll just put a flyer up or a video. Mostly my strategies, I'll put a flyer up a week before my show. Like if I have a special guest, I'll put up the flyer saying, "Hey, tune in. We have special guests on here." That's how I promote it. I promote it through Instagram, and IG and stuff. That's my strategy. And I have a lot of friends, so they'll share it and they'll tag each other, and we'll just do it as a big, group.
I mean, that's cool. That's grassroots right there. I mean, getting it done. So, all right. Now, what is for folks who want to follow you? What's your IG handle? Let's get that out there right now.
It's at Deon Garcia 98.
All right, and on that one, is it DI or DE?
It's DeonGarcia 98.
Okay, I'm just writing that one down because I forgot to ask you about that for the program, so I apologize. All right, so that got the IG. All right, and then on Facebook, is it just your name then?
Facebook is A1 Music Empire.
A1 Music Empire. Right on. Got it. All right, wrote that down so we have it in the show notes properly. All right, so we got that. That's listen. I always ask what I call my corny question. All right, because it's a little goofy, but um, what do you love the most about doing the shows that you do? Your podcast and stuff. And what do you, I mean, I know hate is a strong word, but what do you hate the most about doing this?
What I love the most is listen to people's story. First, I'm gonna go with the love. I love hearing different stories because everyone has a story. Everybody that I've ever interviewed has a story. It just, is up to them to tell it. Like I have a story, I'm pretty sure you have a story, and so on. So you'll never know anybody's story just by looking at them or what they've been through. And I've learned a lot. I've learned to not judge a book by its cover. Just by looking. You never know what a person goes through, and that's what I love about it. Just learning people's journey, their stories, and what they've been through, and what I could take out of it. And one thing I hate uh, someone that's real arrogant, real think because I've had people on my show that they just thought they were too much, and I'm like, like man, you're okay with me, but I see you in public, and it's just like you're with other people that you don't treat right, but I just hate people that are too cocky, too full of themselves.
Right on. Oh, that's a great answer. I don't think I've ever gotten that answer before. I mean, that's a great answer. Usually I get, oh, I hate when people like no show, which is legit. I mean, hey, I hate that too.
I don't really care about the no show. I've had people that no show, and when they tell me, hey, I'm not gonna make it, whatever, I'm real quick. You say, you know what? I'm gonna do some trivia. I'm gonna play, saying a few songs. I might do a song review. I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna keep it live. I'm gonna keep it going. That's not gonna stop me.
Right. That doesn't surprise me at all to hear that. All right. Listen, as we get going, you've got a hell of a story, okay, in terms of your time, getting here to this place in the world, what you've been called on to do, by God, and with your shows and everything else and your family. Um, if I asked you for a piece of advice to give out to folks, you could give it on anything. You could give it on life, on appreciation, on being grateful, anything. You could give it on podcasting. So I'm going to ask you two questions. All right,
Yeah.
only because I think that you can handle this. All right. What's one piece of advice you want to give to podcasters who might be new, starting out and that they want to get going? And what's one piece of advice you want to give to everybody about life?
Okay. About podcasts, um, don't ever don't ever give up. It's gonna be slow at the beginning. Keep pushing. Be positive. Always think of something new. It's always something new. Try to reinvent yourself. Like me, I was doing just interviews, so I stopped doing just interviews. I would do trivia. I would do history. Lessons on artists and stuff. So I would switch it up sometimes. To keep it live, and don't be afraid to try new things. And then the advice I would give to a person is it's just simple, man. Don't sell yourself short. Don't do not think that you can't do nothing in life, because if I could do it, I've been in prison over about 20 years total, and I've been shot 13 times. I was involved in gangs. I used to sell drugs. I was out here causing a lot of destructions, gang banging. So if I could do it, you could do it. There's no excuse. Matter of fact, if I could do it, you could do it better.
Wow, man. I love the way that you're spreading the word and just trying to make things better for everybody else. I mean, that's huge.
You know,
That really is. And you're really giving your family somebody to look up to, man. I mean, that's awesome.
appreciate
Very,
it.
very cool. All right. Any parting words for our crowd, man?
Um, just stay positive, man. In the world today, be thankful for life, and be thankful for your friends and family that you have here. Hold them close to you, because tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow, I've seen people come and go a lot in my lifetimes, and just be grateful. Be grateful for what you have. Uh, don't get greedy. Don't people get a little money, or they get a certain lifestyle, and they want more and more and more. Be thankful for what you got, because there's people that are living up under that bridge right now that are hungry and wish they had everything that you had. So
Yeah,
be grateful for life. Be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for your family. Be grateful that you get to see another day. That's a blessing.
absolutely. I love it. Absolutely, man. All right. You got anything new coming up you want to tell everybody about?
Um, we're shooting a movie called Friends. You can catch me in the movie coming soon called Friends. How many of us have them? I was in a movie called with my boy Juan Vasquez called The Squad. It's on Amazon Prime. You can check it out. It's called The Squad. Go check it out. You can catch me on that movie. Death Is Us with my boy DeLeon Films. We're still filming. Halfway through that movie. You can catch me in that movie. Video Vixens by D. Houston should be dropping soon, and I'm on that movie as well.
Wow. I mean, we didn't even talk about any of that. I had no idea you had all that going on. I was like,
Yeah,
hey, you got anything new?
I also got a book coming out called The Blood in My Face. So stay tuned, man. It's gonna be something for to read about.
Have you finished the book or are you working on the book right now?
It's about almost halfway done.
Nice. I mean, look, knowing you, even this short period of time, I'm sure you're actually going to get it done. Okay. I mean, there's no
Yeah.
doubt in my mind you're gonna
Yeah.
you're gonna kill that thing. When you get the book done, man, you want to release it, you come back on the show.
I sure will. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I would love to have you back, man. Really. I'm also on convictionradio.com. It's a Christian based radio station. And, if you ever feel like you want to tell your story and, make a difference and maybe help some folks, find God, stuff like that, I would love to have you on there too, man. So think about that.
Yeah, well, that's something I'm interested in because I'm trying to transition. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna tell the public too that that they're gonna see this. The people that know me, I'm
Yeah.
not really a spiritual person. I it's weird because I've always talked about God and I thank Him for all the moves and stuff, the doors that He's opened for me. But I'm really not a religious person as far as like church and stuff. But I believe in God and I believe in Jesus was sin was the Son of God. He died for our sins. And saying that, I feel like this is something I want to do. I'm trying to transition my life into like Christianity. I'm trying to, as we speak right now, I'm trying to I came this far. I changed from being who I was, years ago to right now. And this phase of my life now I'm trying to transition to that part of my life. I'm trying to, goes towards some kind of like Christianity. I'm trying to, go that way with my life now.
Right on. See, I just knew. I was like, this guy's perfect for that. I'm talking to you today going, he's perfect for that. So I'm glad I brought it up. And I'm glad I brought it up on the air because now it's going to hold both of us accountable to make sure that I get you on there and that you come on there when I try and get you going.
Yeah.
We just
And then
committed to the whole world.
when we get on there, I'll tell I'll give the story in more detail because the story that I tell is it's real deep and it's real life. You could probably I don't know if you could Google it or whatever, but I've been on the news several times in my city. I've been, you know, I was active out there in the streets, and there's nothing to brag about. I was I didn't know no better. Now I know better, and I'm a father. You know, I'm trying to undo my wrongs. You know what I'm saying, and make them right now. So now these days that I live is all about positive. It's about creating. It's about inspiring. It's about building. So that's what I'm doing these days. So I'm trying to transition, like I said, and live another life.
Hey, man, as long as you got breath in your lungs, it's never too late.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Love it, man. Love it. All right. Deon Garcia, thank you, man, for coming on today. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you for being here.
I salute you for having me on.
You got it. You got it. And we will be talking again, my friend. I promise you
Yeah,
that.
you got my number, and you can hit me anytime, man.
Right on.
And
Well, I'm gonna. So stick
all
around.
right,
We'll talk after the show.
all right.
Folks, for everybody else out there in the audience, just wow. I mean, wow. The next time you start thinking, hey, I don't have time to do the podcast, think of Deon. The next time you start thinking, man, I'm just run down. I don't have it in me. Think of this guy because he's out there killing it every day, and he's making the most of every day. He's following his faith. He's been called to do this, and I'm proud to know you, man. That's a great story. I just love
I
it.
thank you.
Love it, love it, love it. Folks, you have been listening to the Podcaster Nation. This is the place where the rising tide raises all ships. So you know what? Keep sailing. We'll talk to you very soon. Until next time.